Okay, I finally remembered the password to my YouTube channel. Now I can upload this video. Uh, what's up, guys? Lazy Nova here, and today I got something special for you. Now, I know in my last video I said something about uploading a different type of video where I would show my case on how to add every killer into 2v8s, but that's still in progress, and I'm still going over the balance changes and shit. So it's gonna be a while before that comes out, if it even fucking does. I don't know. I might have just given up on it. So to compensate, I'm giving you this video where I show you or tell you potentially how these anime chapters could work in Dead by Daylight. So we know that Matthew Cote, game director and head director for the licensing department, did say that the behavior with, the Tokyo Ghoul chapter before that shit ever came out, that people were gonna bitch about it and that they need to try new stuff. And with the positivity, why did I say it like that? The positivity of the Tokyo Ghoul chapter and their satisfaction survey way back in 2024, October, I believe, where they had some animes listed, it makes sense that they would want to continue anime collaborations. We'd probably not see another one until like 2029, maybe 2030. It feels weird saying 2030, god damn. That's 5 years from now, god damn. Anyway, my point being that it seems highly likely they were going to continue down this avenue of putting anime chapters into Dead by Daylight. There was multiple on there, however, I have only picked 3 that I think are more likely than the most. And if you saw the thumbnail, you know what they are. So, hey, don't click off this video to see the thumbnail, bitch. You stay here and you get surprised, bitch. You stay here and you wait till the fuck. I apologize for that. Anyway, I got really nothing else to say. I could do the whole YouTuber thing where I tell you to follow my Twitch, but fuck you. So, with that out of the way, let's jump into the first concept, which is a Death Note concept. For those who don't know, Death Note is an anime where a random boy, just your run-of-the-mill teenager who's also a genius perhaps, gets a Death Note, which is basically a notebook where if you write down the name of a person, they die. Most commonly from a heart attack, but you can also write how they die, when they die, and all that. And the plot of the story, anime, becomes a sort of crime drama where the police force and a super genius, L. Lawlet, try to find out who Kira is, the killer, and how to stop him. That's all I'm going to give you. I would recommend you watch it. It's actually a really good anime. So, without further ado, let's just jump right in. So, the killer for this chapter, I think the obvious pick would have to be Kira, or otherwise known as Light Yagami, the human who has the Death Note. I know some people will try to say, the Shikigami would work, but I don't think that's the case. Shikigamis really we haven't seen them do shit besides, just writing their notebook, and that's something Kira already does. Also, don't worry, I got a Shikigami incorporated into this concept too, so just wait. So, yeah, let me just go down. So, the killer is Light Yagami, aka Kira, but in the game, he will be known or titled as the Shinigami. His weapon would be called the Judgment Quill, but it's really just a pen. If you watch the anime, you should know why. Not even the anime. There's a clip going around. I'm sure I didn't even have to say it. I'm sure when I said pen, Death Note, it just appeared in everyone's head. But I don't know. If I'm not too lazy, if I didn't forget in the editing, I will just show a little clip of why I chose this weapon. His tear radius is 32 meters. He moves at a base movement speed of 4.6, or otherwise known as 115. And would this collaboration bring a map? I would say no. I think maybe the Shinigami realm could be a map, but that's really just a desolate fucking desert. And I don't think, if they didn't bring anything from Tokyo Ghoul, which, is pretty much Japan, but also you had the iconic cafe and the torture room with Kaneki and Jason, if they didn't bring that in, I don't see why the hell they would even bring in anything from Death Note. Especially since most recognizable maps, or the most recognizable places in Death Note, is just Japan. So if they want to bring in, fucking Tokyo for this collab, I think they would. But for this anime itself, I don't think there would be any map brought in with it. Anyway, that's my excuse. Now, let's go to the power, which I have titled Written Fate. Kira can observe survivors, and after learning enough about them, which is basically just stalking them as the ghost mechanic, he writes their name down in the Death Note and triggers a powerfully delayed effect based on their actions. His ability is called Observe, not Stalk. Hold down the power button while looking at a survivor within a few seconds to begin observing them. Survivors being observed are not notified, but once observed, they receive the marked status effect for 30 seconds, or the same duration as Ghostface's marked meter, or marked duration. Kira can observe multiple survivors at once. However, observing multiple survivors, a full team. Observing a full team takes longer to fully observe them. But observing fewer, so like 2, below 4, I guess, makes the observation mark go faster. You got it? Good, because I am horrible at explaining myself. Ability, written, or right name. Once a survivor is marked and remains within the line of sight for 4 seconds, you press the active ability button to write their name down in the death note. Once written, a 1-minute countdown begins. During this time, the survivor hears Ryuk's laughter in the distance. Skill checks are faster and silent, and all actions are 15% slower, whether that be vaulting, dropping pallets, repairing generators, healing. All actions are 15% slower within this 1-minute duration. If the survivor does not cleanse a totem, unhook a teammate, or stun the killer within this countdown, they are instantly put into the dying state by a heart attack. If the survivor does not take one of those actions, they rewrite fate, but suffer exhausted and, if injured, broken status effect for 60 seconds. This would probably have to face some balance changes, because again, I'm not really a fucking game developer. I just thought of this, that this would be cool. So this would probably face heavy scrutiny and get changed immediately in some way. But right now, this is just this can be used as a little beta test to see, if this could potentially be the power. All right, cool. So I don't want to hear no bitching. Just constructive criticism would be nice. Now, special passive, Ryuk's influence. Ryuk would float behind Light, occasionally appearing to survivors. He will laugh audibly, alerting survivors near Kira's location, if they are not paying attention, that is. Ryuk can also randomly interact with the map, whether that be briefly opening lockers, appearing behind or around survivors, or making the lights flicker. Additionally, once Light opens a locker, he instead flicks his hand, ordering Ryuk to open the locker for him. For Kira's perks, I have 3 unique perks for the Shinigami. Perk 1 being God Complex. Your sense of superiority drives your judgment. When a survivor is injured by any means, gain a token, a maximum of 3. At 3 tokens, survivors within 24 meters suffer from the exposed status effect for 12 seconds. This consumes all tokens, and you must injure 3 more survivors by any means necessary to regain those tokens. Perk 2, False Salvation. You manipulate hope to ensure failure. After a survivor is unhooked, they receive an extra 10% haste effect for 8 seconds. Once this ends, they suffer from obliviousness and exhausted status effect for 20 seconds. Perk 3, Name Drop. Knowing their name is knowing their fate. Once per match and per survivor, when you hook someone, reveal their aura to all other survivors for 6 seconds, and give them the exposed status effect for 10 seconds. It says a cooldown of 30 seconds. So the idea here is that when someone is altruistic, you can punish them for, daring to be a nice teammate, and go for the healthy survivor who has, just unhooked their survivor. Down them immediately, and then kind of just start that little domino effect there. This would probably have to be reworked in some way. I'm already looking at what I've written down. I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Anyway, let's go to possible cosmetics. I only have 1 here because Light doesn't really change outfits. I guess the trench coat would work, but the only one I have is a legendary or ascended outfit for Misa Amane. For those who watch the anime, you know who she is. For those who didn't, Misa is another character in Death Note who has a Death Note much like Yagami. She also has her own Shikigami. So this would be like the Chucky and Tiffany little effect. You can switch them by, buying the Misa skin if you ever so wish. Now, let's go on to the Mori. Light appears behind the survivor with the Death Note in hand, smirking. He writes down their name and steps back. The survivor starts gasping, clutching their chest in panic. Behind them, Ryuk materializes, laughing, and with a distorted heartbeat sound and a flash of red lights, He slashes the survivor's legs, making them fall into the ground and wiggle around like a worm. The survivor then dies from a heart attack. Eyes wide, bodies twitching, light whispers, "You were simply evil." This could also kind of be changed. So for someone like Yunjin, he could say this basic line, "You were simply evil." However, for someone like Dwight, who isn't really evil and is just an office worker who wants to fit in, he could just say, "Be grateful you get to be a stepping stone for me, your new god in the new world." You know, it could be something like unique like that. But then again, if not, this would simply be the line then. Now for the survivor, Lawlet. Lawlet is the antagonist of Death Note, who is the genius detective who can keep up with Light Yagami's intellect. Now for perk 1, I got Detective Tactics. You see through the chaos to find a pattern. Every time a killer hooks a survivor, you gain a token, maximum of 3. Press the active ability button while crouching and stationary to consume all your tokens and reveal the killer's aura for 6 seconds. Perk 2, Unpredictable. Your strange habits make you unpredictable. When injured, if you do not run or sprint for 10, 9, 8 seconds, you gain the undetectable status effect for 6 seconds, which makes you not leave scratch marks or blood trails or be able to be revealed by the killer if he's using any aura perks or scream related perks. This has a cooldown of 30 seconds. Perk 3, Mind Games. You challenge the killer at their own game. When in a chase, if you vault a pallet or window that the killer has also vaulted in the last 10 seconds, you gain a 6% haste bonus for 5 seconds. This perk goes on a 60 minutes cooldown. 60 minutes. You know, fuck it, I said it. 60-minute cooldown, ladies and gentlemen. That's the official stat. That's the official Lazy Nova stamp of approval. 60-minute cooldown. Jesus Christ, man. 60 seconds, okay? Let's, in case someone takes that too seriously. 60 seconds, all right? Goddamn. Anyway, that was my Death Note concept. I think some things need to be definitely rearranged or, you know, balance changing. Maybe better names for the perks and powers. But yeah, I kind of leaned towards, Ghostface for this because they are kind of the same. Ghostface stalks his prey. He kind of learns about his victims. It takes him like weeks to know his victims, like a detailed routine and all that. And Kira is kind of the same, except he just needs to know their name. And he tends to do that by observing them and stalking them. So, you know, kind of a stalk killer, which, you know, if that's the case, I should probably make his terror radius 24 meters. Huh. Anyway, concept 2, which is Demon Slayer. I didn't write down a killer name for this guy. Fuck it, the Demon. Yep, the Demon. That's... God, how did I become so ill-prepared for this? I wrote a whole script and everything. Chapter Concept 2, Demon Slayer. The killer in this anime verse could be of 4 people. Upper Moon 3, Akaza. Upper Moon 2, Doma. And Upper Moon 1, Kokoshibo. But the main villain himself, Muzan Kibutsuji Michael Jackson, otherwise known as, you know, just the main villain and the Demon King. His killer name is the Demon, and unlike Death Note, he is someone that I believe could actually have a realm brought in, and that is the Infinity Castle. His weapon would be Blood Whip Claws. Muzan attacks with razor-sharp tendrils from his own blood, extending his fingers in a rapid slashes. His killer power is called Curse of Blood. I am perfection, I am eternal. Muzan power revolves around aggression, deception, and control, mixing fast strikes with deadly status effects. Special ability, Blood Burst. Press the active ability button to unleash a blood burst slash forward up to 8 meters maximum, damaging any survivor in its path. If the survivor is injured, they become infected. Infected survivors suffer from a 5% reduced vault speed, periodic coughing that reveals your aura to the killer, and the broken status effect if you heal before cleansing. What is cleansing? I'm glad you asked. To cleanse, survivors must interact with a rare Wisteria station placed around the map. 7 spawn randomly per trial, much like Plague. Special mode, Shapeshift. After hooking a survivor, Muza can temporarily disguise himself as that survivor for 16 seconds. While disguised, you move 10% faster and don't trigger a tear radius nor have a red stain. Vaulting or attacking breaks the disguise. However, you vault at the same speed as survivors. but you know, it gets rid of your disguise. So use that wisely. Survivors can detect the disguise by getting within 4 meters of the disguised killer. You will gain a unique heartbeat sound effect. This does not have a cooldown. This triggers once you've hooked a survivor. And then you can kind of shapeshift between. This perk has a fucking crap. This power activates once you've hooked a survivor. If you hook every survivor, you now have the ability to shapeshift between them. And when you do that, you have a 24 to 30 second cooldown. That's too long. 12-second cooldown to 15 seconds. There. Godly, that should not have taken that long. Passive ability, Demonic Prowess. Every time a survivor is hooked or downed, you gain 1 stack. Maximum of 3 stacks. At 3 stacks, Muzan gains haste for 5 seconds after each hit. And his blood burst range increases by 2 meters per stack. So if you have 3 stacks, then your pretty much your shred ability with Demogorgon would go from 8 to 10 to 12 to 14. You get it? Good. I did not input something. God, I'm so ill prepared for this. I even wrote, oh my God. I forgot to write down the effect he gets once a survivor cleanses near a wisteria station. So, yeah, you know what? We'll just let you guys, the community, add on to this power. Yay! Inclusivity. What the fuck is wrong with me? Alright, Muzan's perks. I have 3 perks for you for the demon. 1, pure bloodline. You are the origin of all demons. Their suffering amuses you. When a survivor is healed from the injured state, they suffer from exhausted and obliviousness for 16 seconds. Perk 2, Crimson Command. Your presence suppresses even the strongest. For each survivor within your terror radius, your cooldown on your missed attacks and your successful attacks are 10% reduced. I said that incorrectly. Are reduced by 10%. So if all 4 survivors are within your terror radius, your successful basic attack cooldown, your successful attack cooldowns, including your special attacks, are 40% faster, like the animation. So, you know, you pair this bitch up with Stabiffle and the recently added Help Wanted, you're pretty much going to attack them instantaneously. This would be a gift on Sadako. Perk 3, 1,000 lives. Even death cannot reach you. Once per trial, after being blinded or stunned, you instantly recover and gain the undetectable status effect for 15 seconds. This triggers once a generator has been completed. This is pretty much a token version of Enduring, however you recover instantaneously. Pretty much with a snap of your fingers. And you're only able to use this once until another generator has completed. If 2 generators is completed, you simply gain another stack. So it's like a token. I should have written a token, huh? But yeah, that's the perk. For cosmetics, I have Muzan's true form. So I'll show a little picture here of what Muzan's true form looks like, which is basically this white-haired, mouth-body, abomination-looking thing. This could be treated like Dracula, where Dracula has his own true form, and Muzan, or I guess in this case, the demon, his Mori would change and his voice lines would be more vicious, maybe. So, you know, just a little something for the fans who enjoy this guy. Oh, speaking of Mori, his next. Muzan steps forward as blood tendrils erupt from his back and lifts the survivors with one and mutters, "Insects shouldn't speak." He stabs the survivor with 5 piercing tendrils before slamming them onto the ground. Then, the survivor bursts open with blood falling onto Muzan as he walks away without a glance, a smirk on his face, and wiping away the pathetic blood of the insect. A pretty fitting Mori for someone who views himself as superiority incarnate. For the survivor, I only written down one survivor. I'm sure you can guess who it is. Tanjiro Kamado. However, after recording this video, I have come to the conclusion that maybe a second survivor, Nezuko Kamado, could have actually done wonders for the legendary skins. For, you know, the females like Mitsuri, Shinobu, Kane, and all those other side characters I don't give too much of a shit about. For Tanjiro, I have 3 perks for you. His perk 1 is called Total Concentration. You focus your breath, sharpening every sense. After being in chase for 10 seconds, you press the active ability button. And for 6, 8, 10 seconds, you have no visible scratch marks, vault 5% faster, and gain 3% haste for the duration. This perk goes on cooldown for 30 seconds. Perk 2, Hino Kamikagura, or as it's said in the English version, Breath of the Sun. You refuse to let others die. When carrying a survivor, the killer moves at 5% slower movement speed while you're within 8 meters. If they drop the survivor, you gain a 10% repair boost for 30, 45, 60 seconds. This would also probably have to be reworked a bit. Perk 3, Unshakable Will. You channel your family's legacy to survive. After being downed, you can recover 50% faster and crawl at 150% speed. You leave no blood trails during this effect. Just, a little something to kind of dive into that little anime determination plot armor bullshit. And so that's what this is. I really got nothing else. Legendary skins for Tanjiro could be Inosuke Hashibira, Zenitsu, whatever his last name is, Giyu, and pretty much all the male slayers in Demon Slayer. While the females could either go to original survivors or they can add a second survivor, Nezuko, and have the females go onto her. But yeah, that's my Demon Slayer concept. And now let's go to JJK, who I personally am going to vote for. If given an option for between anime chapters, I would probably vote for JJK or Death Note. Possibly JJK. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump right in. Jujutsu Kaisen chapter comes with the killer Sukuna Ryomen. In the game, he is given the title as the Curse or the King, playing on his title as the King of the Curses. JJK also will not bring in another realm, but I am just now realizing that they could bring in the schools that the students go to learn about cursed energy. Well, boo fucking who, missed opportunity. Fuck it, we ball. His weapon could either be a cursed cleaver or his own hands. He moves at a 4.6 meter radius. 4.6 meter radius, yeah, that makes sense. He moves at a 4.6 movement speed, otherwise known as 115, and has a tear radius of 32 meters. I am also just now realizing that I did not give Muzan a movement speed or a tear radius, so fuck it, we ball. His killer power is called Malevolent Sorcery. Sukuna's power combines brutal area denial with high lethality punishments, keeping survivors on edge at all times. Special ability, Cleave Dismantle. Press and hold down the power button to charge Dismantle, a ranged curse slash that travels in a straight line up to 12 meters. If it hits a survivor, they are injured and hindered for 8 seconds. This will probably have to move down to 4 seconds. If it passes through pallets or generators, it breaks those. And if it passes through a window, it blocks that window for 10 seconds. This power has a cooldown of 10 seconds. Now, my favorite. He has a special mode that can be activated twice. One during mid-game and one during the end game. This special mode is called Domain Expansion Malevolent Shrine. After hooking one survivor and having 2 active injured survivors, or at least 2, you could have, bare minimum 2 injured survivors, you can press the active ability button to unleash your Domain Expansion Malevolent Shrine. This lasts for 60 seconds. All survivors within your 32 meter tear radius are oblivious and exposed, vault 8% slower, and can see cursed slashes, which are basically much just hallucinations of your cleave dismantle. If it hits them, they gain 2 extra percent slower of speed. Motherfucker, they're hindered. Why did I have to say that so fucking weirdly? God, this video is a mess, bro. While in the domain, Sukuna also gains a 5% movement speed, a reduced cooldown on attacks and miss attacks, and charges his power 30% faster. This can only be active once again after all generators have been completed. So you only have 2 times to activate this, either mid-match when you have at least 1 survivor hooked and bare minimum 2 survivors injured. And then, after all generators have been completed, you can instantly activate it. Special passive, Finger of Power. Each time Sukuna hooks a survivor, he absorbs one of his 20 fingers. At 4 stacks, he gains Empowered Dismantle for 60 seconds. Or maybe we can make this a bit permanent. I don't know. I'll let the comments decide that. The Empowered Dismantle travels faster, can hit multiple survivors, and causes deep wound on those who are healthy, and causes extra hindered. Now, let's go to perks. Everyone's favorite thing about a killer. His first perk is called Cursed Gift. Pain is a pleasure and you are kind enough to gift it to others. Every time a survivor is healed from the injured state, they gain Hindered and Obliviousness for 12 seconds. I nearly said 20. Perk 2, Desecration Field. Your aura radiates dread and hopelessness. After kicking a generator or a pallet, all survivors within 32 meters suffer the exhausted status effect for 20 seconds. Perk 3, Hex King of the Curses. You attack with overwhelming force. After a missed attack, gain 15% haste for 7 seconds. Hitting a survivor blocks all and every generator within 32 meters of you. This only activates once every survivor has been hit once. Another cosmetic is Sukuna's true form. I don't know what you want from me, okay? Anime villains love their final transformation true form. Fucking sue me. Here's a little picture of what his true form looks like, which is pretty much just the first picture I see on Google. Possible survivors for this chapter could be Megumi and Nobara. The survivor I am 100% confident that it will be if they ever do this chapter is Yuji Itadori. So let's dive into his perks and then we can end this fuck-ass video. Perk 1, Divergent Fist. You land your blows where they matter. After stunning a killer with a pallet or blinding them, you gain 10% haste for 4 seconds, while the killer suffers from the stun, no matter it be blind or from a pallet stun, for 5% longer. This has a cooldown of 40 seconds. Perk 2, Shared Vessel. You've learned to fight the demon that lives inside. After being downed, press the active ability button to instantly regain 30% wiggle progress. Once being unhooked, you gain the endurance status effect for 4 seconds after losing the first one. Instead of adding to the endurance status effect you get naturally for being unhooked, let's say this is sort of an anti-tunnel perk or a extra body blocking perk. So when you are unhooked and the killer, let's say, hits you, you get endurance, and then you usually lose that one. If you get this perk on, you get an extra 4 seconds after losing the first endurance. However, if you decide to take a protection hit while you are endured from this, second endurance, you are broken for 30 seconds. Perk 3, Unbreakable Soul. You always get back up to protect your loved ones and humanity itself. Every time a generator is completed, you gain a token. You recover from the dying state 7% faster and crawl 30% faster. Once per trial, you recover from the dying state without help if no one is within 8 meters of you. This includes the killer. Mori. Oh, the Mori was last this time. Sukuna grabs the survivor by the throat and lifts them off the ground with one hand, and with a smirk, he chants, "Cleave, dismantle." 2 black energy slashes tear through the survivor midair as he drops them lifeless. As they splat on the ground, he declares the survivor pathetic. And that's all the concepts I have for you. I hope this was good. This wasn't good at all. I fucked up so many times in this video. I am hot as hell. And this would usually be the part where other YouTubers would say, follow my Twitch, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna let you decide if you wanna do that or not. But I will tell you to subscribe and leave a like. I want money. But yeah, tell me what you thought. Tell me what anime chapter you would like to see, or just generalized since you'd like to see maybe your own concepts in the comments. And yeah, I'll talk to you all later when I finally decide to upload again. Peace.